Now, after almost 24 years, Cantu still says he's innocent and he wants a new trial.
You've always maintained your innocence?
Absolutely, from day one. Give me a new trial with the team and with the attorney that I've got today, but I want them to know, hey.
So he's participating very actively and thinking of everything he can to try to get the truth out.
Cantu supporters say he did not get a fair trial and that he was framed by the real killers. He is set to be executed.
And at least 3 jurors who sent him to death row, including the jury foreman, have pushed to halt the execution.
In 2001 and is scheduled to be put to death Thursday evening. But advocates say new evidence is casting doubt on his guilt.
Legal challenges and appeals. In the case of Ivan Cantu, the road to justice have been paved with legal challenges and appeals, each step fraught with tension and uncertainty. For over 2 decades, Cantu has maintained his innocence in the face of accusations that landed him on Texas death row, and his execution date looms closer. His legal team is scrambling to present compelling evidence and arguments to stay the execution. One of the key battlegrounds in Cantu's fight for justice lies in the courtroom, where his attorney Jenna Bond has been tirelessly advocating for a fair trial. Cantu and his legal team argue vehemently that he was deprived of a fair trial and that crucial evidence supporting his innocence was never properly presented in court. This includes challenging the testimonies of key witnesses, particularly Cantu's then-girlfriend and her brother, whose accounts formed the backbone of the prosecution's case against him. Despite previous setbacks, Cantu's legal team remains undeterred, filing motions and appeals to present newly uncovered evidence that could potentially exonerate him. The recent flurry of litigation leading up to his execution date is a last-ditch effort to sway the courts and secure a reprieve. Cantu's hope hangs precariously in the possibility of a hearing and the chance to present this evidence before the final verdict is rendered. Central to Cantu's legal battle is the pursuit of clemency, with his attorney petitioning the Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles for a recommendation to commute his sentence or grant a 120-day reprieve. The decision ultimately rests in the hands of Governor Greg Abbott, who holds the power to halt Cantu's execution. The outcome of this appeal for clemency could be the difference between life and death for Cantu. Beyond the confines of the courtroom, Cantu's case has garnered widespread attention and support from various quarters. High-profile advocates, including Sister Helen Pregine and Kim Kardashian, have lent their voices to the chorus, calling for justice in Cantu's case. Their advocacy has helped mobilize public opinion and galvanize support for Cantu's cause, amplifying the pressure on decision-makers to reconsider his fate. In the face of daunting legal hurdles and the relentless march of time, Cantu remains resolute in his quest for exoneration. Despite the uncertainty that shrouds his future, he continues to cling to hope and fight for his innocence with every legal avenue available to him. For Cantu and his legal team, the battle for justice is far from over, and they will leave no stone unturned in this pursuit of truth and fairness. Witness testimony controversy. In this case, the validity of witness testimony has emerged as a central point of contention, sparking controversy and raising doubts about the integrity of his conviction. At the heart of this controversy are the testimonies of Cantu's then-girlfriend, Amy Boettcher, and her brother, Jeff Boettcher, whose accounts formed the linchpin of the prosecution's case against him. Amy Boettcher's testimony, which detailed the events surrounding the murders of Cantu's cousin, James Mosqueda, and Mosqueda's fiancée, Amy Kitchen, has come under scrutiny for its alleged inconsistencies and falsehoods. Cantu and his legal team argue that Boettcher provided false testimony, pointing to discrepancies in her statements and newly uncovered evidence that contradicts her version of events. Among the key points of contention is Boettcher's account of the timeline of events leading up to the murders. Cantu's attorney alleges that Boettcher's timeline is at odds with forensic evidence, suggesting that the murders may have occurred later than she claimed. Additionally, discrepancies have been raised regarding items such as a missing engagement ring, which Boettcher claimed Cantu had given her but was later found to be in the possession of Mosqueda's family prior to the trial. Jeff Boettcher's testimony has also come under scrutiny, particularly in light of his recantation in 2022. Cantu's legal team contends that Jeff Boycher's initial testimony was influenced by drug use and coercion, casting doubt on the credibility of his statements. His recantations, coupled with allegations of prosecutorial misconduct, further complicates the narrative surrounding Cantu's conviction. Despite these challenges to the reliability of witness testimony, prosecutors maintain that the guilty verdict against Cantu remains valid. They argue that the testimonies of Amy and Jeff Boycher were corroborated by other evidence presented at the trial, including DNA analysis, fingerprints, and ballistics. Furthermore, they suggest that any inconsistencies in the witnesses' accounts can be attributed to factors such as trauma and manipulation by Cantu. The controversy surrounding witness testimony in Cantu's case underscores the complexities of the criminal justice system and the inherent challenges in determining truth and justice. As Cantu awaits his fate, the debate over the reliability of witness testimony continues to rage on, with implications that extend far beyond his individual case. In the pursuit of justice, the integrity of witness testimony remains a critical factor that must be carefully scrutinized and evaluated to ensure fair and just outcomes. Alternative narratives emerge. As Ivan Cantu's case unfolds, alternative narratives have emerged, challenging the prosecution's version of events and offering new perspectives on the murders of James Mosqueda and Amy Kitchen. These alternative narratives present compelling evidence that casts doubt on Cantu's guilt and raises questions about the validity of his conviction. One alternative narrative centers around Cantu's assertion that he was framed by the true perpetrators of the murders, rival drug dealers. According to Cantu, in the days leading up to the passing away, he was threatened by individuals claiming Mosqueda owed them a large sum of money. Cantu alleges that these individuals were responsible for the murders and orchestrated a scheme to frame him for the crimes. Supporting Cantu's claim are accounts from witnesses who corroborate his story and provide crucial details that challenge the prosecution's narrative. For example, Cantu points to a witness who worked for Mosqueda and claims to have encountered individuals matching the description of the alleged assailants. Additionally, forensic evidence, such as bullets recovered from the crime scene, aligns with Cantu's account of being threatened prior to the murders. Furthermore, Cantu and his legal team have raised questions about key pieces of evidence used to convict him, such as the testimony of his then-girlfriend Amy Boycher and her brother Jeff Boycher. Cantu alleges that their testimonies were coerced or influenced by external factors, such as drug use, and that they provided false or misleading information during the trial. In light of these alternative narratives, Cantu supporters argue that there is reasonable doubt surrounding his guilt and call for a thorough re-examination of the evidence. They contend that Cantu's conviction was based on flawed testimony and circumstantial evidence, rather than conclusive proof of his involvement in the murders. However, prosecutors maintain that Cantu's guilt has been firmly established by the evidence presented at the trial. They argue that Cantu's alternative narratives lack credibility and fail to adequately explain the incriminating evidence against him, such as DNA analysis and witness testimonies. Despite the ongoing debate over which narrative holds the truth, Cantu remains steadfast in his assertion of innocence and continues to fight for exoneration. As his case continues to unfold, the emergence of alternative narratives underscores the complexity of seeking justice in cases where the truth may be elusive and multiple interpretations of events exist. Supporters rally for clemency. In the 11th hour of Ivan Cantu's legal battle, supporters are rallying behind him, urging authorities to grant clemency and spare his life. From grassroots activists to high-profile advocates, a groundswell of support has emerged, amplifying Cantu's plea for a second chance and igniting a fervent call for compassion and justice. At the forefront of the campaign for clemency are Cantu's family, friends, and legal team, who have tirelessly advocated on his behalf. They have mobilized public support, organized rallies, and launched petitions, all in a bid to sway decision-makers and secure a reprieve for Cantu. Joining the chorus of voices clamoring for clemency are prominent figures from across the political and social spectrum. Sister Helen Pregine, a leading advocate against the death penalty, has lent her support to Cantu's cause, speaking out against the irreversible injustice of executing an innocent person. Similarly, reality TV star and criminal justice reform advocate Kim Kardashian has used her platform to raise awareness about Cantu's case, urging her millions of followers to sign petitions and demand action from Texas authorities. The rallying cry for clemency has resonated far beyond Cantu's immediate circle, drawing support from individuals and organizations committed to upholding principles of fairness and mercy in the criminal justice system. From faith-based groups to civil rights organizations, a diverse coalition has united in solidarity with Cantu, calling for an end to the cycle of violence and retribution. Central to the campaign for clemency is the belief in Cantu's potential for redemption and rehabilitation. Supporters argue that executing Cantu would not serve the interest of justice, but instead perpetuate a cycle of trauma and injustice. They emphasize the need for compassion and humanity in the face of profound suffering and loss. As the deadline for Cantu's execution looms large, the rallying cry for clemency grows louder and more urgent. Every signature on a petition, every voice raised in protest is a testament to the power of collective action and the enduring belief in the possibility of mercy and forgiveness. In the final hours before Cantu's fate is decided, supporters continue to hold vigil, praying for a last-minute reprieve that would spare his life and offer hope for a future defined by compassion and reconciliation. For Cantu and those who stand by him, the fight for clemency is not just about one man's life. It's a reaffirmation of our shared humanity and our commitment to justice tempered with mercy. That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.